Joseph's Hospital in Bangor held a remembrance ceremony late this afternoon. People gathered at the hospital for the annual lighting. The St. Joe's Youth Choir performed songs, and Santa and Mrs. Claus showed up too. The trees inside are filled with ornaments bought by people that contribute to the Healing Hearts art program. Each ornament represents the life of a loved one that has passed.
Grief and bereavement are relatable, universal reactions to loss, right? And no matter the language you speak, we all know what that looks like and feels like. And having the benefit of a support group where you can go in and have a conversation and talk with people who are in similar spaces in their journey can be very healing.
Ornaments can still be purchased on the St. Joseph website.